Yeah, well, welcome to the first virtual workshop on Google Maps and the Transit app. Um, we're here today with our current ambassadors and Elisa and Sarah from the Mobility for All team. And the purpose of this workshop is to retrain our current ambassadors and give them a refresher on how to use, but also how to teach Google Maps and the Transit app as we're moving forward with the expansion of the ambassador program. And we want to make sure that our current ambassadors feel confident in understanding the updates that some of these apps have gone through, and then also feel comfortable teaching new people and just, to create that environment of common understanding of what we're doing and who we are, what's the purpose of our program. Just a few quick Zoom housekeeping items. If anybody gets disconnected for some reason, you can go back to the meeting and you can call in so that you don't miss the information here. You're always welcome to show your camera so that I can see your faces and you can see ours. You can please remain muted unless you want to speak. And you can either use the chat or you can also raise your hand if you wanted to make a comment. Okay, so we're gonna start with introductions. And I would like to hear your name. What is a place that you've been to or that you would love to go back to, just as an icebreaker? And then you can also tell me on a scale of 0 to 10, how confident do you feel about teaching this workshop in person next month? And by this workshop, I mean Google and the Transit app. So I'm gonna call in somebody as I see them on my screen. I see Leonard first. Would you like to share your responses to this question, Leonard?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Leonard. I like going to the Longmont Library, and that's a good trip to take with RTD. I live in Niwot, so there's a park and ride nearby. And I feel confident about teaching the workshops on a scale of 0 to 10. I don't know, 8, 9.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Leonard. I see Karen next.
Okay, so when you say a place that I've been to and want to go back, can I say Europe?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Okay, I didn't know Leonard used a public transportation, and I thought, oh, well, maybe I missed that part. But anyway, I've been to Europe 3 times, but it's been a very long time since I've been there. So that's where I'd love to go back to. And, they have great public transportation there, right? So on a scale of 0 to 10, I say an 8 or 9. I feel pretty confident with teaching. And I'm sure after your workshop, Jessica, I will feel like a 10.
We're all going to be 10s. We're in Europe. Do you want to go back to, Karen?
Where in Europe? Well, probably places I didn't go to Europe. I didn't go to Spain. I didn't go to Portugal. I didn't go to Greece, so probably those would be on top of my list.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karen. I see Melissa next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa. A place that I've been, I would love to go back to, other than Europe, I would love to go back to Europe. But keeping it more local, I want to check out Denver more. I moved here maybe 2 years ago, and I've only been to Denver a handful of times, so I'd like to check out Denver more. And then on a scale of 0 to 10, I'm really excited for the in-person workshop. So I'm gonna go for a 10. I feel ready and excited to meet everyone in person.
Yay! Awesome. I love the enthusiasm. Thank you, Melissa. I see Jen next.
Okay. Malaysia, I'm totally with you. Maybe we should do a trip to like Union Station in Denver or something on a bus.
Mhm.
Yeah, anyway, so I'm done. I think I'm confident to teach these and it says, thank you, Jessica, for this refresher. I think we all could use it.
Oh, thank you so much, Jen. Yeah, I'm glad. I hope this is helpful. And oh, I forgot to mention, Melissa and Sarah, if you see something on the chat, I can't see it because I'm sharing my screen, so I'll appreciate a heads up. Okay, next I see Sarah.
Okay, cool. Hi guys, my name's Sarah Lee. Pardon the unprofessional shirt right now. I'm having a day, but I am, yeah, as you guys know, one of the new outreach and engagement specialists with Mobility for All. Place I went and would like to go back to is Lakeside Amusement Park. I love that place a lot. It's one of my favorite places in the world. It has like real neon signs and like it's a real amusement park with like old rides. Like some of the rides are from the 30s and it's like 100% safe. And it's not sketchy at all, but like it's like you're in the 60s again and it's amazing. And I love it so much. And it's in Denver. But yeah, it's, and then 0 to 10, confidence about teaching transit app and Google Maps. Well, those two are probably like the least confident that I feel. So probably like a 5, because I'm confident in teaching. I don't think I could answer questions. I don't know, maybe like a 6 on these, but I'm like a 10 on Uber. So yeah.
Yeah, hopefully, I think this will be helpful for you then, Sarah.
I think so too.
So, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Last but not least, Adriana. I see you on my screen.
Hi, my name is Adriana Paola Palacios Luna. I go by she, her, ella. And a place where I have been and would like to go back. I can say my hometown, so Puebla, Mexico. And the transportation there is very good. You can go to everywhere in transportation. It can get very crazy also, but it's good. And how confident do I feel? Probably I will say 10 in Spanish and 8 in English, or something like that. So
Yeah, that's good. I understand that. Different levels in different languages. It happens. Awesome. Well, for me, as you know, my name is Jessica. I'm one of team members at Mobility for All, and a place that I've been that I would love to go back to. I guess keeping it relatively local, I would love to go back to Grand Lake. It's one of the most beautiful places that I've been to in Colorado, and I don't know, there's like a pretty hike and a waterfall. So those are kind of rare around the area. Unfortunately, you can only get there by car, but it would be nice if there was some sort of a shuttle to Grand Lake. And on a scale of 0 to 10, I should feel confident in teaching these workshops because I'm allowed to teach them. So we'll see after that what you think about that. So yeah, okay. It's good to see everyone's faces, and I'm glad that you guys were able to be here for today's workshop. I'm going to move to the next one, and this is something that you might get asked, and probably you have been asked in the past. So I wanted to just give a quick overview. What does Mobility for All do, and who are we, and what's the role of the ambassadors? So Mobility for All, as you're probably aware, is a transportation-focused program from Boulder County. So I guess like the major goal, the upper, what's the thing, like the bigger focus goal that we have is to promote equitable, affordable, and accessible transportation options to limited individuals or people who need it the most, because we know that transportation is at the center of many other elements of life that give us quality of life. So transportation gives us access to food, to employment, to housing stability, safety, education, and so on. So we want to make sure that people have that access, and that access is equitable, affordable, and accessible. Let me see. There are 4 objectives that we have, which are specific to the different, elements that are encompassed in our program. So the way we get to this bigger picture objective is by looking at these 4 strategies. So the first one is to expand affordable transportation, and we do that by providing eco passes or bus passes or any other type of transportation support like Lyft or Uber credits, Google Grandparent credits to people who call us. So that's how we try to expand that access to affordability. We also foster collaboration. This is through the MAC and through our partnerships with other agencies that are local, that are state, or that are federal. Obviously, you're aware of the Mobility and Access Coalition, and that's one of the examples of this forum that we have, where we get together with different stakeholders to promote and bring up discussions related to transportation and transportation needs. The other strategy that we have is to promote multimodal transportation. And we do that through these workshops, right? We teach people how to feel confident and how to use Google Maps, the Transit app, Uber, Lyft, and the RTD app, because if they feel confident in doing that, they're more likely to actually use those modes of transportation and not only the car. We also receive phone calls and give transportation support. We have social media presence, we have a website. Thanks to Sarah and Melissa, we have a much steady and recurrent presence on social media. So if you're not following us on social media, please do. And that's how we try to get people this education of, if you didn't know, this is a transportation mode that you can use in your area. And then lastly, we want to advocate for human-centered transportation planning. And that's kind of like the most bigger picture planning focused area that we do. One example is the Mobility and Access for All Ages and Abilities plan that was adopted last year. So that focuses on what are the needs that we need to address through a human-centered transportation lens, and not just focusing on infrastructure change, but also what is it that people actually need. And then we also apply for grants and make sure that other plans within a region don't forget about transportation, like housing or public health and so on. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Are there any questions or any questions on the chat that I'm not seeing? Okay, I think we're good. Oh, hey, Lisa. I didn't see you there. Thanks for joining us. Hi.
Oh, also, Jessica, there's nothing in the chat.
Oh, thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, of course.
And can anybody just confirm that we are recording? You see that it's recording. Okay.
I saw that we were recording. I think we are
Awesome.
still.
Yeah, we are.
I just got this thought in my head. What if we're not recording?
Oh, the anxiety.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Okay. Now, with all these different strategies, as I mentioned, one of the ways that we try to promote education is by teaching these workshops. As you know, we have 5 in this series. Today, we're going to be talking about Google Maps and about the Transit app. So during the past few months, probably 5 to 6 months, I've been working on updating each one of these apps and the handouts that are focusing on each app. And then we're also translating them all. so that we can have access. Oh, and then I'm also making sure that all of the handouts are low vision friendly so that they can be read through a screen reader. So those are the updates that we're doing because we're trying to increase that accessibility too. So one thing that you might want to think about as you teach these workshops in the future is obviously knowing your audience. Yes, we know that people may speak other languages, which is why we want to teach them in Spanish, but also how do we want to teach these workshops to people who are blind or low vision? And we're going to talk more about that tomorrow at the Center for People with Disabilities. Okay, so let's go to the workshop presentation. I'm going to go through Google Maps, and then we can have time for questions, and then we'll do like a brief break before we go to the Transit app. Does that sound good? Okay, so the workshop goals. Basically, this is to increase your confidence using Google Maps. And if you were teaching this to the audience, another important goal of these workshops is to connect the public with the ambassadors. So we want them to receive this information, but we also know that a lot of the times people feel more confident if you talk to them one-on-one. So that's what we want to connect them to you. Okay, let's start with how to use Google Maps. And before I start, I was wondering, has anybody taught this workshop before? The Google Maps one. Yeah, Leonard? I think that's the person I see. Yes. Do you remember any issues, or do you have any comments, Leonard, on what it was like to teach this workshop?
I think what we tried to do before was to get people to download the app before the workshop. Is that true? You can really get sidetracked on different people in the workshop in person not being able to get the app installed and to be ready to really launch the workshop.
Right. And in my experience, that's been one of the first and most important issues to think about when you are teaching these workshops, because a lot of the times people don't know how to download an app, or they don't remember their ID or their password, or they just had this phone for a little bit and they are not familiar with it. It's an older phone and they don't have a charger. There's all these different scenarios that can happen in previous circumstances that are important to keep in mind. So there's going to be a lot of troubleshooting usually when we teach these workshops. However, this is kind of like the important thing or the basic thing to get started. We need to tell people to go to the App Store or to the Google Play Store and then type Google Maps and download it. And depending on their iPhone, you know how some iPhones still have the thing in the middle, like the circle in the middle. Some other, the newer ones, you need your face recognition, and some other ones, like the Androids, they might need a password. So there's all these different scenarios that may happen when downloading an app. So we should keep in mind that.
Hey, Jessica, so I have an iPhone. So when you say Android, their Google sign-in, is that, again, would be kind of like a password, or what would a Google sign-in be?
Yeah, I think it's a password also. I also have an iPhone.
Okay.
Does anybody have an Android phone here?
I used to.
Yeah.
It's just a school site. It's just like your Gmail account, and then like whatever password you made.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa, I saw you muted yourself. Did you
Yeah,
want
I
to
was
say?
gonna say the same thing Sarah said.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, Melissa.
All good.
So this is very important because as we know, as we see now, some of us feel more confident with some platforms than others. And it takes especially importance when teaching to people who are low vision or blind, because obviously each software, the Android one or the iPhone one, they look different and they open apps differently, and then they open that you can read them differently when you have a screen reader. So that's something to keep in mind.
And Jessica, only to add what Sarah just mentioned, also sometimes my son has an Android, and when he needs to download any app, it requests like, he has like this, like what you do with your finger in the screen. So it asks that one too, so.
Right. So like what's the name? Like it's
Motion.
like a password, but with your
Like your
finger.
fingerprint?
It's like a finger pattern.
Yeah,
right?
like,
Oh, I know what you mean.
yes.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
Yeah.
And for
Okay.
that have like a fingerprint detection, they also ask fingerprint, so it's like
Mhm.
similar to Apple now.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So maybe a good, as we're talking about this, a good first step when teaching the public or new ambassadors will be to have each one of them talk about what kind of phone they have and how comfortable they feel downloading apps. Maybe that could be a good first step so that we have an idea of what are some of the troubleshooting that we might be needing to do in order to download the apps. Although with Google Maps, it might be not as big of an issue because if I'm remembering this correctly, when I had an Android, I think it's already downloaded in some phones, but I don't know. Definitely will be for the RTD app for sure, because people are less likely to have that one downloaded. Okay, so once you download the app, it's going to ask that you access your location. And you can either choose allow when using the app, or always allow, which means that Google Maps is going to collect your location. So I'm going to pose this question, and if anybody wants to ask, what if we have a person who says, like, I'm afraid that they're going to know where I live. I don't want to let Google Maps know my location. What's something that we can say to this person?
I was that person for so long. I was like,
Yeah.
I can't give them that permission. It makes me so nervous. But you kind of have to. Like, it's kind of a bummer because like people be like, yeah, you kind of have to. And I'd be like, no, you don't. Like, you don't have to. But like, if you don't allow your location, you can just put locations in, right? It just makes it kind of harder.
It makes it harder on yourself, right?
Yeah.
Or,
Mhm.
what the other thing you want to do, if you want to save your battery, you want to have it only look for your location while using the app, because otherwise it's going to run down.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Mhm. Any other comments? The other, I was gonna say, Lisa, related to what you said, I think that only while using the app option is a good halfway,
Yeah.
because you don't have to share it all the time, and Google Maps is not going to collect all of your data and all of your locations, but you have control of when you open the app, and it's going to be easier for you to use the app when you want to use the app, and then know that the app won't track you if you don't have it open.
Along those lines, and something you can tell people, you can go into your settings and not use take a location out of things, out of the apps on your phone.
Right. Adriana?
Yes, sometimes, like if you're, um, like for the Google Maps in itself, it's not necessary that they find your location if you know the address, the point A to point B that you want to be. That is kind of enough. But it can be helpful to allow the location, location sharing, because it gets like more easily, like if you say, I want to go from my current location to wherever, right? But it like people can feel also comfortable if they don't want to share their location in this app. Maybe other ones like Uber or Lyft, they require more to know where you are and things like that.
Right. And I think here, thanks, Adriana. Yes, I think that related to that, it will be important for people to hear like somebody saying, no, like I have used it, they're not going to come for you. Because I understand that there's this fear of giving up some of your privacy. But at the end of the day, this is helpful for you and to improve your own mobility. And you can choose when and if you want to allow it, but then you change your mind, you can turn it off later, like Lisa was saying in your settings, or Adriana too. So I think in this, especially when this is new to people, these are some of the, I guess, conversations that are important to have. And trying to, I guess, calm people down or ease their sense of anxiety.
Yeah, that really helps me too. Sorry, just.
No, I was gonna say, Sarah, I see that you're muted yourself.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I also just kind of learned because I went to the Center for People with Disabilities in Longmont and I learned about how to use the GPS systems because I didn't have a phone with GPS for a long time because I didn't want people to know where I was because I'm really private first. I don't know, but unless I really like you and I like all of you guys and you guys can know where I am, but some stranger, and then they were saying Google doesn't really care. The government doesn't really care who you are. Google doesn't really care who you are. They don't care. You're not a conflict or a convict or you're not yeah, and that made me feel better. I was like, okay, they don't really know who I am in person. There's so many people in the world, they can't care. They're not gonna track me down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are very good points.
Committing a crime, then you want to shut off the GPS.
Yeah.
And you,
But
yeah.
Shut off everything.
Humorous,
Exactly.
unless you're doing something
So
illegal,
funny.
then you want to shut it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good,
Committing a crime.
right. That's a good point, Lisa. We can try and make a joke out of it.
That's
Say
good.
don't allow if you have committed a crime.
Uh-huh. If you've committed a crime, you're running away.
Okay, awesome. So this app wasn't really that difficult to update. It hasn't changed too much. However, this is what we see with the new version. The bottom menu is what has changed, and also the ability to say, well, I think I have, some of my important places where I go saved to, as work and parks and restaurants. So the main screen has the search bar on top where you can type the destination that you're going to, which can be an address, can be a word. For example, if you're looking for ice cream places close by, you can say ice cream, and then Google is going to find the closest ones to you. You can also type coordinates, geographic coordinates too, which is not, I don't know, if needed, that's another feature that I found out about recently.
Can you put an intersection in there?
I think so. I don't know if anybody wants to try that and let me know if it worked.
Well, right now I have this on my phone. I will I am updating my computer, and then I'll be able to do the Zoom on my computer like a normal person. And I can do it.
Good. Yeah, no worries. So the search here is it's a very powerful, I think, search bar. And then if you don't have it necessarily something and you're hungry, you can also just do the restaurants tab that's underneath, or the parks or the attractions. And you can also save places too. So you can save your home, you can save your work to make the directions go, the directions portion go easier. So then you have the white arrow to show you your location on the map. So you might be looking at other places in, I don't know, in the country that maybe you wanted to see, and then to go back to your current location, you just need to click on the white arrow and it's going to zoom in. The directions arrow is in blue, and it opens up the option to get the directions. Go figure. So we're going to talk about it a little bit later. And then the bottom menu has the explore option, which shows you the attractions that are close to you. So if you just go to that, you will see what it's around you. If you live close to a restaurant or a coffee shop or a library, and if they're on Google Maps, you will see them. If you go to the icon Go, it will show you all your pin routes, and it gives you easy access to all of your favorite or most recurrent places. So for example, I have my route to go to work pinned because I don't want to, search for it every time I go to Google. If I have friends' houses pinned. I have places that I go recurrently as pinned. So I just go to the Go tab, and then it opens it up and it tells me how I can get there using public transit. The other option is saved. And here where you see all of yours, you can save your favorite places on maps to easily find them on your computer, phone, or tablet. So I use this one a lot for when I go, I know I'm gonna go travel somewhere. I looked it up on Google Maps and then I save it. And I can show you in the demonstration how to do it. So then you go to your save tab and then you can open them easily. Contribute is, this is kind of like the social media aspect of Google Maps. I think this one is new. It's not super relevant to what we do, but you can basically add pictures of places or write reviews if you want to, or you can suggest an edit. Okay, and then the updates one. Oh, I forgot to mention this one. Let's see what it does. So if I go to updates, I think you just see the people that you follow and see if you have any messages. See if people that are your friends on your phone. See their pictures, if they've uploaded pictures. I have my sister who's posted pictures of food, I guess. Oh, sorry, I don't know if you can see. So that's what the updates is for, like updates of your contacts and places where they've been. But yeah, you don't have to add anything there. Okay, the part of this application that we really want to focus on is how to get to places. So using the directions. And for this one, it's important to either know your location through the GPS feature or type your location if you don't want to share that information with Google, and then choose a destination, which can be, again, an address, and can be a place that you saved, and can be GPS coordinates. And then you also have the ability to choose what mode of transportation you want to use to get to that place. As you can see, we have driving, public transit, walking. Does anybody know what this one is? a guy with the little hand like this.
A Haloride.
Yes, hell riding and biking. So we can type a destination, and for the most part, the default is going to be driving. So if that's what you wanted to know, it's the first one that you'll get. And then does anybody know what the different colors mean? Oh, I guess I put it here. Oh, it's okay. Probably people know that red means that there's traffic, orange means that there's some traffic, and then blue means that there's not as much traffic on that part of the route.
And it's
And
construction is what on there?
I think it has an icon, right? When
I
there's
think
a
so.
Orange.
orange
Also-
is orange is there's a little bit of traffic. I think construction has like an icon of a guy that's like,
Yeah, I think it's like a little like triangle with like a dude holding a flag or something like that.
A dude.
Yeah, because
Sounds awesome.
it's construction season, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes, there's construction everywhere.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jessica, I was also going to tell you that you can change the default if like you're a person that doesn't drive. You can go into your settings, I think, and you can like change it to walk or transit as your default. So that's like it'll be your go-to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. Thank you,
I
Sarah.
know. I didn't know that either until a couple months ago.
Really? So go to settings on your Google
Uh-huh.
apps
Yeah.
and then navigation. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I thought that was really cool too.
Okay. Oh, there's also a detail guided. Did you know this? Detailed guided guidance.
Yes, I
Here.
love that. That's
Okay.
super helpful.
Oh, that could be good for like low vision
Low
workshops.
vision. Yes, that's great for me, and I'm low vision, so that's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you,
So
Sarah.
does it tell you as going? Which way to go? Is that what it?
It seems like for that one, it says that it gives you even more detailed.
Yeah,
Let me see.
it'll tell you. It should tell you like walking like step-by-step directions to the place instead of a map, because a map confuses a lot of low vision people,
Right.
including me. Like, wait, what is all the colors and squiggles?
Yeah. So Lisa, it says here, guided detailed voice guidance. So you can hear more frequent and detailed audio announcements during walking navigation.
So cool.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's good to know. So that you can see that if you go to settings. So if you like click on your, let me blur my back.
I wonder if it'll work on a hike.
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
We might have
The- yeah.
One time, my mom and I got stuck, and the GPS signal was just totally lost, so it didn't work on our hike. We were very
Yeah.
lost. We were like in the middle of the wilderness,
Oh,
just
I
like
know.
jumping over logs, and she was wearing flip-flops.
no.
Yeah, the things my mother does for me, I feel like my Mother's Day chocolate wasn't enough.
Funny. Okay, so I can share my screen a little bit later and show you how to get to the detailed explanation of the map. But does anybody know why we have the gray ones here, like these gray lines?
They're like alternative routes.
Yes. And these ones are a bit slower, so they're not the first choice. Usually the app is going to show you the fastest route, and I think you can also change that. You can set your default not to be the fastest, but the one that avoids tolls or avoids highways or different options. Any questions so far? Oh, and here's where you can pin a route So if you know that you usually go from Pearl Street Mall to this field, then you can just pin it and then find it on your bar.
You
The
know,
public
like,
trans-
who
Oh,
would
yeah.
not do left-hand turns in her car. She said left-hand turns are dangerous. So she would map her route and only go right. And it's
Really?
a lot longer to get anywhere.
Oh my gosh. I've heard that people do that. I had a friend who was afraid of right turns and not left. So it's funny. Okay, so public transit directions. This is an important one because we want people to feel comfortable understanding what are the transportation options close by. So instead of choosing car, you can do this icon that's probably, I don't know, it could be a train or it could be a bus. So you choose that and then you'll see all the different modes of transportation. And here there are also categorized. So you have least walking first or more buses afterwards. Usually the first one will be the easiest one. Has anybody used the depart at option, like function? Yeah, Jen, have you used it? Yeah.
Yeah, I've used both of the bus. I've used a lot of the bus stuff.
Yeah.
I used a ride bike because I'd like to know when I need to go, like get on the bus to make an appointment at this time, so I use that to help me.
Yeah, I use Arrive By mainly as well.
Yeah, I find that a bit more relevant because a lot of the times we have a time that we need to arrive by. So that way you can plan backwards and see if I need to arrive at this time, when do I need to leave by? So this is a very helpful one. And the last,
Or now one thing, a different use for the pinning that I didn't think about was when I went to the Lockwood Foundation to hike.
Mhm.
Use pin for the volunteer to know where to meet up, which I thought was pretty cool. Jeffrey would just pin the trailhead or whatever,
Mhm.
so everyone knew right where to go.
Yes, that's a good one. Yeah, does anybody, you'll know what Jen is talking about? So if there's a place that you want to go to, you can like click on it and then you can save it, or then you can share it and it shares as a pin too, so that other people know exactly where they need to go. Mhm.
That's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it's very good. I've used it when we go to hikes because sometimes it's not very clear where the trailhead is. So it's important to share a pin like that.
Yeah, and like when you're in flip-flops in the middle of nowhere on a hike.
That's funny.
Wasn't
Yeah.
funny at the time, but
Oh
now
my gosh.
it
I
is.
can imagine.
So,
Okay. So once you've chosen a specific bus route in this case, then Google Maps is going to give you a step-to-step guide on how to get there and look at the directions. It's going to tell you the amount of time, in this case 18 minutes. It's going to tell you the instructions on where, like, to walk where and how long the walk is going to take you, and then the number of stops, and then if you need to walk more again. So this is kind of like a detailed guidance. And if you wanted to know where you are, you can always do the blue and white map icon here to see where exactly you are at that time. Okay, so that will be public transit. Now we move to walking, rideshare, and biking. I don't know why I was thinking about ice cream, and we wanted to go to Gelato Boy the other time and it was closed. So I was like, what if I go to Gelato Boy walking from my house, and it's 10 hours, but it
Whoa.
got mapped. This is a little bit of an extreme, like people are probably not gonna walk 10 hours to go get ice cream. But as you can see, it's mapped on the app differently, like the little dots and not a line as it is for car or for transit. Again,
We do
something
have
that,
a boy in Boulder.
yeah,
Go through walk.
I know, that would be extreme, but I don't know.
That would be awesome.
I think it was a mistake that I think I wanted to do Gelato Boy here in Denver, and it ended up like choosing Gelato Boy in Boulder because
Oh.
that's the last one that I Googled or something. And I was like, oh, this will do.
So funny. It's like worth the calories after you walk 10 hours to get ice
You
cream.
believe that? This is also, I thought it was important because as you can see at the bottom, it tells you the time, but not only that, also the distance and the altitude too. And I wonder if that's also important for people who have accessibility barriers. So for example, people who use scooters, again, this is an extreme case, right? But if it was, you can see how much elevation you gain or lose, maybe that will tell people know whether they can go with a scooter or with a wheelchair or not. And you can also see the step-by-step if you click on this icon, or do the start, like the navigation setting if you click on start. And also that will give you the audio directions when you do start. Rideshare, has anybody used this one in the past?
Sometimes it's interesting to compare it and see what the price difference is.
Oh yeah?
I had no idea it was even there. That's like really helpful.
Yeah. Lisa, have you found that prices can be different sometimes?
Yeah, there's sometimes where like Uber will have a surcharge on stuff, but Lyft doesn't. I mean, it's rare, but it does happen.
It
I-
totally does.
Right here, then go to the, enter the information again in each app.
Oh. Adriana?
Yes, I was going to mention like they usually show like lower prices than the actual app. Once that if you go to the app from Google Map, then the Lyft app will have a different price of the trip.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wonder why they do that. I wonder if,
I think because Google is using like a kind of like an average price, but then the Lyft app will depend on the time of you requesting the trip and things like that. Like if it's a extra busy time and things.
yeah,
Hours, things like that.
right. Okay, so we might not consider the traffic and the demand at the time, because they may not have that information.
Now it's been so long since I used Lyft or Uber. Are they still charging if you reserve in advance?
Yes. Yeah, they charge like $12 extra if you reserve in advance, which doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like it should be less. But
Yeah,
yeah.
thanks for that, Sarah. I wasn't sure, but I knew that you knew.
But yeah, I do. I use Uber a lot.
So in order to use this option for rideshare, people should and must have their Uber or Lyft account and app on their phones. in
Mhm.
order to see the open app button at the bottom of the screen and use that option. Oh, and it even shows the cars here. Oh, I didn't realize that. You can see here, there's some Lyft cars. That's interesting that they share that information. Okay, and then the other one would be biking. This one also got updated, which was interesting because it shows you the route that you want to go after you choose the bike icon, and it gives you the route. And if you look at this menu and expand it, you will see the time, the distance, and it's going to tell you how steep it is. And then it's going to show this, what's the name, like this model of the elevation. You'll see how many feet you're gaining throughout your trip, which is very important to know. And I didn't realize that they updated this one. I also like, I guess that they have to say, right, that the biking directions may not always reflect real world conditions. Because I guess it's hard to suggest and map all the different streets that actually have bike lanes or not.
Mhm.
Yeah, has anybody used this one?
Yeah, I think I've checked just to see how sweaty I'm gonna show up to work. You know, I have to go uphill.
Funny. Adriana?
Well, yes, I have like check well, I have used the whole bike thing.
Do you
Mhm.
find it helpful?
Yes, I think especially because it tells you like maybe this is not the best road, or sometimes like it always kind of alerts you like this is the suggested road, but make sure like to drive with safety and that kind of thing. So
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Sounds good. I don't know if they did that in previous iterations of Google Maps, but I think that's a good addition. Okay, we're gonna pause here. Let me stop sharing.